New fees related to Chinese-linked vessels. You may be thinking as an importer, haven't I already paid enough increase this year due to trade policy? What are these fees? Why are they charging them? How are they going to affect me as an importer? It's approaching quickly with a start date of October 14th, and today I hope to answer some of those questions for you. So let's discuss the background of this current move. Certainly the current administration has been creative in the way they've used trade policy as tools to address or to achieve certain economic and trade policy goals. The main goal here with this fee is to address China's dominance, global dominance in the maritime and shipbuilding sectors, and more specifically dealing with China's policies and practices in the shipbuilding and maritime sector that put a burden on U.S. commerce. A large share of the global fleet are either owned or operated by Chinese companies or built in Chinese shipyards. In order to address China's dominance here, Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974 is being employed. For some context here, the U.S. Trade Representative, or the USTR, can use Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974 to investigate and respond to foreign trading partners that they feel are being either unfair or discriminatory or putting a burden on U.S. commerce. And one of the ways that they can respond is with tariffs or fees. In this particular case, responding with a vessel service fee for all Chinese-linked vessels that call on U.S. ports. Of course, many of us are familiar with 301 tariffs, which were put in place on about $350 billion worth of Chinese goods during Trump's first term, when he directed the USTR to investigate Chinese trade practices, ultimately concluding that China had engaged in unfair trade practices. And this has left us with the current 301 tariffs at either 7.5% or 25% on many Chinese goods that are paid in addition to general duties. The current investigation by the USTR into China's maritime and shipbuilding sector, in fact, did conclude that China did engage in unfair or non-market behavior, which has led to these vessel service fees. So how will these new fees affect you as an importer? I'm going to keep this brief because the details are technical, but basically starting October 14th, vessel operators of vessels that are either owned or operated by Chinese companies or built in Chinese shipyards will pay this fee directly to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. I'm going to assume that the steamship line will then more than likely roll this into their ocean freight rate or be billed as a separate line item, similar to how you may be paying a peak season surcharge or a Panama Canal surcharge on your freight bill. The important thing to know is that you will not be paying this fee directly to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. How much should you expect to pay? Again, this is technical, so I'm going to keep it simple, but depending on whether the vessel is Chinese owned or operated, or if it's built in a Chinese shipyard, the vessel operator is going to pay U.S. Customs either based on net ton of the vessel or per container, number of containers on the vessel. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to use the per container rate, which will start at $120 per container and then increase incrementally every April until we get to April 2028, when it'll be $250 per container. I'm going to assume that the steamship lines are going to pass on at this rate. If the fees instead are assessed per net ton, it could be a different rate, but I think this is a good guideline for right now. I know it's a lot of information and it may bring up particular questions for you, but I'm happy to help. Please reach out and I'd be happy to review this with you. Thanks so much for watching.